Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Suzerain with me, your host, Parallax. Oh my goodness, I have been thinking about this all day, and I told myself when I get home, I get everything done, I have to start working on the Satisfactory video, but I can't do it. I'm making yet another Suzerain video because I love this game so much, and I really, really want to see things. I want to see if we can make it. I'm curious. What I think is I think we boned ourselves here. I think that the economy was recovering because we were at -4 or -5, and I think when I took out more money to do the agricultural zone down here, I think that's what tanked the economy again. So I think we should have waited for another mega infrastructure project and let the economy recover a little bit, like let this kind of do some work for us, let the trade deals do some work for us. But unfortunately, we jumped right back in to another project. But here's the thing. Once this project gets done and over with, yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. But once it gets done and over with, I think we'll have learned our lesson and we're not going to do any more mega projects. So we'll at least have two working for us. That should help. Like that should really, I mean, we have a lot of great things going for us. If we go to the economy, we got a lot of good things going for us. We have some things that are, kind of going for us. And then this one right here lacks investment. We just invested a ton. The highway system, that should help. We're trying to fix this by doing the other mega project. This right here we can't help. The unemployment crisis, we can't. I mean, we can help, but we've not been given anything to directly help with this. Like we can't form the TVA. The global trade war, that's not our fault. And when that lets up, we're going to get a huge kickback from that, like at least 3, hopefully. Um, so, and then this Rust Belt, that's this here, right? So this place needs revamping. So this guy got some infrastructure. This guy got some infrastructure. We're investing heavily in this region as far as hospitals and education. And then over here, we haven't really done anything. Now, this area here is just right next to the capital, and they already have a highway. They already have a port, right? I mean, they have some good things going for them. So they're just going to have to hold the line until we can figure things out. But that's where we're at right now. The last video was pretty good. I think this time we're doing what? Yes, I think what's going to happen right now is we're going to go in here to order. No, we're gonna take care of this inconsistent curriculum. We're gonna take care of that right now. So our welfare is gonna be through the roof. Like the people will be taken care of, right? And hopefully the people are gonna vote for us in the next election because we took such good care of the people, right? And then this corruption and organized crime, I really hope that we start tackling that during this video too. Like this anti-corruption police, like I really, really hope we start like laying into that. Now, yes, the more I think about it, we probably should have tasked the anti-corruption police. We should have tasked them toward the old guard to get our constitutional reform to go through. That, I think, is a mistake. Like, I will admit that that was a mistake. We should have tasked them against the old guard, got our constitutional reform through, and then sent them against the oligarchs. But here we go. Let's talk about the Shahuls. Clara had scheduled a short meeting at the Ministry of Education to discuss the current curriculums taught in schools. The ministry building was located in the government district right next to the Ministry of Health. It was tall, narrow, and wedge-shaped, like a slightly opened book. How cute. Near the front gate, there were many statues of world-renowned scientists and thinkers. The largest, of course, was of Artvin Evenstand, the greatest scientist of all time. Above the main entrance was a familiar inscription. Oh, this is again in Latin. Education is the premise of progress in all societies and all families. Inside the building, I was greeted by Clara, his assistant. They led me to a meeting room where she was waiting inside. She stood and gripped my hand. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Good afternoon. I will cut straight to the chase. Our progressive reforms in Sorlin education system is well underway, but there is one sticking point. It involves evolution versus creatism. As it currently stands, schools across Sorlin can decide whether to include evolution, creationism, or both in their curriculum. Rural schools often decide in favor of creationism only, which puts students at a disadvantage when it comes to entering university. The effect is especially noticeable among young women. My suggestion is to make the teaching of evolution mandatory and preferably ban creationism altogether. I really don't want to do this. I mean, she's going to get pissed at me, and I completely understand. But we need votes for the. I wonder if they even give a crap. I wonder if they even give a crap. I mean, would they even care? I bet they wouldn't even care. Let's just go ahead. That's great to hear. It sounds like we're already aligned on the matter. Excuse me, who is this? Some urgent business kept me away. Welcome, Mr. Glade, Mr. President, Miss Wanda. We were just discussing the curriculum. Paris made some excellent points. Glad you came. I need to hear some opinions that make sense. Very well, let's hear them. Continuing from my previous point is my conviction that we should require the mandatory teaching of evolution in Sorlin's public school and cut creationism completely out. If we want children from rural areas to have the same opportunities as their urban counterparts, this is the way. Opening students' minds and reducing the role of religion in schools will also lead to more equality between young men and women. Miss Wanda, don't bring your pet cause into this, Mr. President. There are other considerations you may not have thought about. Although I myself believe in evolution, we must be careful not to alter our rural conservative voter base. We owe a lot to their support. Forcing their school districts to teach evolution could irreparably damage our standing with them. Every modern nation is reducing or removing creationism in their curriculum, yet we are supposed to allow schools to promote fundamental and, yes, sexist ideas from 1,000 years back. So is that what we are doing now, copying that from other nations are doing instead of paving our own way? If it works, why not? Look at the analysis. It's clear that the superpowers are doing something right. Should we reinvent the wheel? You speak as if you don't import any influence from other countries. That's not what I said. Their voices started to grow louder and louder. I held up my hands for silence. We can still allow creationism to be taught alongside evolution. You could live with that. Evolution is the way forward. Schools should be able to teach. Yeah, we'll do that. That's what I wanted to do from the beginning, but I didn't think people would care. But if evolution says they care, they care. Yes, although I won't like it, I still believe schools are no place for religion. I won't like it either. You'll have to prepare to lose a lot of voters. Ugh. Your decision. Don't forget, future generations are counting on you. We're gonna get a yellow. We're gonna get a yellow thing. You know, and that's what sucks. Is like, you know what's gonna happen. Like, we know. Where is it? Like, we know if we click to let them teach side by side, then there's gonna be an orange thing here that's like curriculum not aligned. And if you click the one where it's like only evolution, then it'll be like curriculum now aligned. And it's just like, damn. You know what? Let's just do what's right, and let's just get shot in the street. Why not? We need their votes, but we've also helped them so very much. We've helped. They're gonna give us this. They've helped. We've helped them. We've included their quality of service for health care. We've motivated healthcare workers to get out there and work. We're going to revitalize their schools, and we're going to build new schools. They're gonna put up with being taught evolution. They're gonna owe me this. My job is to advise you on the political landscape, and I can guarantee that this won't do us well. Sometimes there are more important things, like ideals. They turned and looked at each other. Lucian lifted his eyebrow, and Clara held her gaze for a couple of seconds. The meeting ended shortly after. All right, here we go. Ready? There you go. Modern teaching techniques. We got rid of the red thing, right? The red thing is gone. Ooh, what about economy? Yes! England's economy is stabilizing. Their economy is stabilizing. Ah! Good, good, good. Good, good, good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Our region is stabilizing its economy thanks to the investment we have made. Despite the effort, it is still dealing with racial tensions between the Bush people and the local swords. Is stabilizing its economy thanks to the investments we have made. However, it is still struggling as the economy is not doing so well. I understand. I understand. Ooh, that makes me feel a lot better. That's great. That's great. Okay, let's go. We got 6 newspaper articles. They're gonna kill us. Nationalize the Big Four now. As the debate about privatization versus nationalization intensifies in the capital, Post firmly believes that President Ryan should come down on the side of nationalization for all the so-called Big Four companies. Oh. But if the government is taking minority ownership of both companies, it will go a long way towards ensuring that they act according to their state's interest. Overblown rights case appealed. Oh yeah, we don't know how that's gonna that's gonna be a powder keg. That guy is gonna get that's gonna be a powder keg. We're not even gonna talk about that. Okay. The city of Dreer is busy preparing for the day of decision, the annual celebration of the founding of nice. The founding of the religion. That's lovely. Privatization, lovely. Big win for science as Ryan enforces schools to evolve. LOL. Alright, let's see what happens. After the implication of the new curriculum which banned creationism from schools, the head of the Teachers Association of Sorland, along with 8 out of 12 members, have resigned in protest. Following suit, teachers and principals from various schools have also left their jobs. Approximately 1,600 teacher positions are expected to be refilled in nearby regions. Well, that's cool, because we didn't invest in teacher budgets, but all that money that we just now got dumped back into our coffers to like hire new people, that's cool. That's cool. And if you don't, I mean, look, I have worked in a couple of jobs that I did not like what was going on. I did not like how things were going. I voiced my concerns, told them I didn't dig it. They told me this was how things were, and I put in my resignation and I left. Went to another job. That's just how it goes. Suffering from the effects of an economic recession, with unemployment spiking and many small businesses shuttering, the larger agricultural concerns are expected to announce a wave of layoffs as sales slow. Yeah, that sucks, man. Oh, look at that. They've already started work on it. They already have maybe what, a sixth of it done? That's great. The governor reports that the investment provided by the government has been put into use via various programs for new companies and technologies. The opportunity has led to an increase in overall entrepreneurship in the region and revitalized the economy, further increasing trade with nearby countries and regions. That's beautiful, because these guys right here, these are oligarchs, man. They have money, so increased trade with them, bueno. These people right here, they're our buddies for right now, so increased trade with them, bueno. Is drawing his operation against the Bush Freedom Front to a close. The consensus is that while the Wayland's army went a long way toward neutralizing the threat, there were many preventable casualties. Furthermore, despite some best effort, not all hideouts have been eradicated, and anti-sentiment is at an all-time high among the remaining insurgents. Well, he kicked the hornet's nest. Let's see if he can take care of business. Let's see if he can close that out. Oh, what's this? Okay. The effect of the trade deal with England is now in effect as per the signed agreement. In the short amount of time, steel trade in Sorland has seen an increase in flow, with especially the England region befitting the most from the results. The governor of England has reported that the trade deal has helped increase the manufacturing output of the region immensely due to the combined effects of the H3 highway passing through the region. Good. Perfect. Better trade deal. Highway. Fantastic. Lovely. We just need to get that economy going, and we just need to get our budget under control. That's all that needs to happen. Okay. It's preparing a bill which aims to unify Swedish education by making Swedish the only language accepted in educational institutions, excluding specific foreign language studies. Interesting. Ooh, anti-corruption police update. They have completed preliminary investigations into Sorland's main oligarchs. No concrete proof of corruption or other wrongdoing has yet been revealed. Dang. That's not good. That is really not good. I was kind of hoping we'd get something against those guys. That is the one thing that I do regret. Like, that's the one decision I'd go back and change. Is I would put us against Tusk. Or not Tusk. I'd put us against the old guard and not the oligarchs. But that's the only thing I would change. That's it. Okay. What's next here? Lobby the assembly. Okay, let's get up here and let's sway some freaking votes, man. Oh. Yeah, we'll spend it. There we go. That was great. Our personal wealth decreased. Now we're at 0. Oh, and we have the continue button in the middle of a video. You're gonna love this. We're gonna get to see something change. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Oh, yeah. We spent our personal wealth to get some votes. We needed them. I hope it was worth it. Okay, Chapter 2, a new Sorland. Oh, we're going into Chapter 3. For a second, I was like, man, we're only on Chapter 2? That's amazing. A victim of changes. Victim of changes. Does that sound right? Are we a victim of changes? Okay, so nothing happened to the economy. Nothing happened to our budget. I don't see a bunch of things happening here. That didn't get worked on anymore. Alright, we're just into Chapter 3 now. It is reported that in the villages around, a group of BFF missionaries are seeking to recruit militants to fight for the BFF. Reported that the gerrymander forces in the area are now actively working towards eliminating the threat. Yeah, man. Don't come over here and recruit our people to go into Wayland. We'll have to do an Operation Bear Trap. We probably should have been more aggressive. We probably shouldn't have done a half-assed measure. Like, if he was going to squeeze from the west, we probably should have squeezed from the east, and we should have taken care of business. Force those people into Rumburg and let them deal with it. That's what we should have done. We should have been aggressive. World ignores the bullish plight. And shot after burning Anglican... Oh, no. Tensions are on the rise between these two people. You know, I was in the shower and I was like, if I could run this game, like if games had progressed pretty far and you could kind of do whatever you wanted to, or this was a multiplayer game or something, I would invite these two people to come and talk, and I'd be like, this is what we're going to do. Are you ready to understand what we're going to do? You and us, we're going to be a triple entente. We are going to be an allied force. You are going to give this island back, and then we are going to take Dome back from Rumburg. Because remember, Rumburg took Dome from Angola. So, like, Angnola. Like we'd be a little triple entente, and we would just take that back, and you would give that back, and then we would oversee all the trade that comes through this area. Apparently, the amount of trade that comes through here is staggering, and we would have control over that trade. Like, we'd have control over the waterway, we'd have a good land army. This guy would behave himself. These people down here wouldn't feel like running over us because there's 3 of us versus 1. It would be freaking stellar. But we can't do that. All right. We're getting a call. It was my office looking through the agenda for the upcoming meeting at the Ministry of Economy. We're going to be screwed in this meeting. They're going to hate us. The meeting was going to be about the ownership of the Big Four, the 4 largest companies in Sorland: Heart of Sorland, Steel, Swordfish State Corporation, and the mining group. We're probably going to take a minority stake in these to make them behave, because the price gouging and stuff, I'm not going to tolerate it. Some of these companies were controlled in part or entirely by the state. The others were mostly or completely privatized. I had the power to change that. The phone rang and I put the agenda down. Pick up the phone. Oh, this is... And see, I really hate this, man. I really, really hate that these guys can just call my freaking office. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that they can just pick up a phone and call me. They should call the secretary. The secretary should be like, hey, Mr. President, this guy's on the line. But take a message, we'll call him back. Like, he can schedule a meeting. I hate that the game just lets them call directly to us. Greetings, Mr. President. It has been a while. And what I would like to do is say, like, hey, we're going to have a meeting, but you're going to sit down with like 2 or 3 other officials in the room, and then you're going to talk to me, right? I don't like doing this alone. I don't like him being able to say whatever he wants, and then it's just my word against his. It's just stupid. Greetings, Mr. President. It has been a while, hasn't it? Let me try to remember. When was the last time we had a chat? Oh, I remember. It was when you refused my gracious offer. for a good reason. Well, we are both adults here. I'm sure that we can at least let the past be past and focus on the future. Although this time I'm talking about a short-term future. Your upcoming ownership meeting, for example. But before we move on to that, I can't help but mention your tax hike, Mr. President. The increased taxes have made a substantial dent in HOS's net profits. This has hurt the backbone of the shortest economy, but I assure you it's nothing we can't endure. Good. Out of goodwill, I will share a key piece of information. The Lothar Group, which I think he represents, has contingency plans if you decide to do anything rash that would disrupt their empires. You can't blame them, can you? Imagine someone trying to take your authority and personal wealth away without your consent. I don't see why we should be enemies. We will only ask for a reasonable share, nothing out of the ordinary. I just don't want to say anything. I don't want to say that they're going to do whatever I want. I don't say that we're going to buy anything. I really just want to be like, thank you for the information. And then just sit back. Like, I don't want to give him anything. He's fishing. If everyone plays their cards right, it will all be fine. Now, let's talk about those cards. Since the start of your campaign, you wisely committed to a market economy. Judging by that, I am sure you are looking into privatizing some of the companies that are currently state-owned. I believe, therefore, that privatizing both the mining group and the Sword State Corporation would be in both of our interests. After all, I am considering buying stock in both companies. I am not thinking about privatization. What do you mean? You will leave everything the same then? Don't tell me you are thinking about nationalizing them. Thinking about a more balanced approach. Balance is important, Mr. President, but the concept of nationalization goes against everything my father built and stood for. If you do want to go down this road, I must insist that you exclude HOAs from any such plan. This is the most important request. Think of your corporate allies as a sea of ravenous sharks surrounding you. We could coexist peacefully, or I just hate it. I hate that this guy can call and talk to me like this. I really wish somebody else was in the room, and I'll just be like, hey, the girl from the Ministry of Justice and the head of the anti-corruption police are in the room. You're on speakerphone. Go ahead. What do you want to say? And then just let him talk. And if he's like, okay, have a nice day. Like, cool. Have a nice day. You know, like, I don't know why we have to have this conversation. I don't know why we have to pick outcomes that give him information. Please let's pick outcomes that are just vague and they can't. Because if we tell him we're going to nationalize, he goes back and starts putting plans in and starts in like concerning his effort toward that. But if he doesn't know what to do, then he has to dilute his effort into all fronts, and he won't be, you know what I'm saying? Let's not let this guy watch film on us. Let's not even imagine that scenario. We don't need to be enemies, let's just say that. No, we don't, as long as we both understand what entails not being enemies. I always keep my end of the bargain. Don't forget, you had better keep yours as well. Before we end the call, there's actually one more thing I'd like to discuss. I will be blunt, Mr. Tusk is unfit to be spokesman for the group. His archaic thinking has only preserved a status quo that benefits himself and precious few others. It's high time something changed. Who do you have in mind to replace him? Who do you think? Me, of course. Here's what I propose, a win-win situation. If you promised me a majority of the shares from the privatization, he would lose considerable power, which means I could take over. If I take over with your help, I'll be forever indebted to you in support for all your goals, be re-elected, or something more. How does that sound? I'll have to think about it. Just think about it. That's all I'm asking. Well then, I have taken up enough of your time today. This has been a productive call. Thank you, Mr. President. Goodbye. Yeah, I really kind of wish I could have just been like snapped my fingers and been like, hey, pick up the phone, you know, and then have a record of that call. Illegal crossing raised. Border police have reported an increased number of arrests as Boldish and refugees attempt to enter the country. Temporary detention centers have been erected to process and deport the illegal immigrants. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else need to talk to us before we move on? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Lovely, 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 lovely. All right. Requested meeting of, okay. Yeah, he's probably going to tell us that we're screwed, that we're spending too much money, and that our economy is screwed. Lucian rescheduled some time with me to discuss the potential political repercussions of the upcoming economic meeting. He arrived on the time as usual and took his seat right across from me. Good morning, Mr. President. Dark circles below his eyes. Political developments must have been weighing on him, on a workaholic like him. Let's discuss this upcoming meeting. I booked some of your time to pre-plan for today's meeting at the Ministry of Economy. We need to be cautious. Any grand plans about the economy also heavily influence our political standing. We would be changing our relationship with the old guard, the oligarchs, and the opposition. As you know, this meeting will give you the opportunity to alter the ownership of the Big Four, the largest corporations in all of Sorlin. We can start the process of nationalization or privatization, or we can just keep the status quo. Again, I remind you that any change will tip an already fragile balance. I personally think we should stay out of this and keep things as they are. There is no need to make new political enemies at this stage in our term, but ultimately the decision is yours. What are you leaning toward, and how should we move forward? If we privatize some of these companies, then that'll take the burden off of us to like provide for them, which would increase our budget. It would give some people more power, but I would like to buy like the Big Four. That's what I care about. I want to buy minor stakes in those. So here's what we do: we privatize the 2 state-owned companies so that people can buy into those, and then we buy shares in the other companies so that we can have a say in those, right? Like, it's tit for tat, you know? If we nationalize these companies, people would lose their freaking minds, man. The economy would go into absolute poo-poo. They would destroy their own equipment. Like, they would do a scorched earth policy. There would be nothing left. But they'd be out of our politics. But everybody would hate us for it. It'd be nice if we could talk to the people and see what the people say. Increased employee costs. The newly expanded labor rights have created new costs for businesses, increasing employment expenditures. Tax avoidance, stagnant production, stabilizing consistent economy. Stimulus check, small business, increased trade volume. Welfare looks great. We spent a lot of money to help people. Influential OMEC member. Experienced diplomats, tariff-free oil, higher price steel, priority diplomatic pressure from Rumberg, and then Rumberg's expansionism. I have to ask why. What is your intention? Privatization will help bring the country out of recession. The oligarchs are powerful. They might aid us in the assembly if we help them. Truth be told, I don't care what anyone thinks or says. I will do what I believe in. Privatization will help bring the economy out of recession. That may be certainly true, but taking everything out of state hands may have a dire repercussions in a country like ours. We need to tread carefully. One thing to remember is that since you've been transparent about promoting market economy, privatization will not cost us much support. I received a report from the ministry that may impact your decision. Unfortunately, we have missed our governmental budget targets for the current quarter. The plan to change the ownership of important assets could help us generate much needed resources to further improve economic development before the next election. It's just something to consider as our relationship with the oligarchs. We need to remember that they only care about their own profits. Unfortunately, we are not on good terms with them. This situation has been obstructing some of our efforts with the economic recovery. However, if we implement a privatization plan, they would surely be delighted. Still, we need to make sure that we don't go overboard with it. If we do, we might lose our base both in the USP and among the other people. We don't want the lumber group to be our enemies. it'll endanger our re-election. If we privatize only a part of their companies, perhaps we can get out of this unscathed. To save our country from recession, privatization is a must. That would be certainly a wise compromise. Some of my connections indicate that there seems to be a contest for leadership. It looks like is making moves to become the key figure. Probably wants his father's seat as the head of the group, and Tusk doesn't want to let it go. It's a significant power struggle considering these are the heads of Sorlin's two largest private corporations. If we over-privatize our state-owned companies, the Swordfish State Corporation and the mining group, it could result in the balance tipping to one side. They would fight over buying up shares and cause chaos. Since you have already made the decision to privatize, you need to be decisive in your follow-up actions. Did Markle or Tusk contact you? I received a call from Markle. What did he ask for? He wanted to make a deal to leave HOS untouched. I stopped him before he could say anything. Don't worry, I have it under control. And then I said I'd think about it. Very well. Was that all that he wanted? He also wants me to give him the shares from privatization to lower Tusk's influence. As I expected, this internal conflict among the oligarchs puts us in an interesting position. Our relationship with Walter Tusk hasn't been good so far. Any move we make now has to be calculated and thought out and thought through. Very well, it's almost time. I'll inform Mr. Hall of your decision and he will make the necessary preparations. I hate that because I really wish, instead of just saying, hey, you're going to do nationalization or privatization, it's like, can you tell me more? Like, could you just kind of go over that with me a little bit more? But they didn't do that this time. They just said you had to pick. Country overview updated. Overview panel updated. None of that stuff up there got changed, unfortunately. All right, order. Corruption tackled. Thanks to the success of anti-corruption policies, the illegal behavior has been largely reduced. Oh my goodness, there we go. So corruption, we're tackling it. We're not done with it yet, but the corruption issue is getting better. It's so nice to see. So nice. The island has been a disputed territory for many years, with Sorlin standing on the sidelines. Increased Navy activities in the Marquian Sea are highlighting a standoff between the two nations and sharpening the rivalry for each other. I'm telling you, you two and us, we should all three work together. You give them their island back, and then all three of us try to get Dome back. That's the way forward, man. That is the way forward. Okay. Last thing we do, maybe in this video, the meeting. Oh. Let's not screw this up. Refugees suffer because of rain. Yeah, I know. That's my fault. Tensions keep rising in the... Yep. Lucian and I arrived at the Ministry of Economy. Assistants took our coats and showed us the meeting room where Simon, Edith, Gus, and... Yeah. Yeah, okay, great. So, are waiting. As soon as I entered, their chatter stopped and they stood up. After a few pleasantries, everyone but Simon took their seats. He opened his briefcase, produced a folder, and proceeded to go over some of the documents. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Ministry. Without further ado, we are, of course, here today to discuss the economic shift towards privatization. Mr. President, before you arrived, Markle and Edith were expressing their delight at your decision to go down this path. Wonderful news, I would say. I'm glad we are staying firmly on the path to a market economy. This was certainly the right decision. It will boost our economy by providing the government much needed funds right now. We can then use those funds to increase development for the future. It's a win-win situation. I'm glad we're on the same page. You are saying this only because you will have a stake in it. Enough with the flattery. Certainly. Let's move to how we can go about implementing a privatization plan. Please turn to page 6. As you can see in the document, the first company up for discussion is the State Corporation. It has been around for over half a century. Most recently, they have been handling a wide range of state construction projects. In their portfolio, they have government buildings, various infrastructure projects, state libraries, embassies, basically anything government related. Privatizing a company like this would certainly increase the government's budget. That, of course, would result in lots of opportunities for us to provide for our citizens. The funds could also be used to boost our popularity, especially with the elections approaching, not to mention the various other areas in which we can and should spend money. However, there is one catch. The conservative majority of the USP would not like this decision at all. For them, these state companies are part and parcel of shortest identity. If we privatize these companies entirely and sell too many shares in them, it will have consequences for us in the assembly. What would be the effect if we fully privatize the SCC? What would we sell a minority share? It would be better than nothing, but why stop there? A minority stake won't help our government as much. We need to be decisive. On the other hand, a minority share would create less friction. This is only my profession. If we fully privatized it, we would gain tremendous amounts of money for the government. We can invest that money in future government projects, which would popularize our administration, increasing the chances of our re-election. That popularity might not make up for losing the lion's share of the conservative vote. Conservatives comprise a majority of the assembly. If we hurt their national pride, they will turn on us. I am against full privatization. We should make enemies at this stage. All right, let's move on to the next. I know that a majority, I guess, let's see, what majority? It's certainly a good option. The state would keep some of SSC operating under control, and the government would have lots to gain. I'm leaning towards this option myself. Retaining control while increasing our budget, I don't see a downside. Retaining control while increasing the budget. Let's move to the next option. Very well, turn to page 26. He didn't say anything about the majority control. He didn't speak up about it at all. Very interesting. And here's the mining group. One of the largest mining corporations in eastern Merkop, let alone in Sorland. They call themselves the leaders of the world in coal. They certainly have enough evidence to back that up. Perhaps they are not as large as SSC, but they will have lots to gain if it is privatized. I fully support privatization of this company to any extent. Certainly a good option to gain enough capital to end the recession once and for all. I have contacts in Needham. It is one of the most valuable corporations in the last decade. I can vouch for that. I have personal experience with the company myself. It would be a great addition to any portfolio. What are your thoughts on selling a minority share? Coupled with a minority share, that is the way to go. Cool. Cool. Definitely not a bad idea at all. I'm ready to make a decision. Sounds good. Let's go over the document once and for all. So, state fully owned, majority state owned, majority state owned. And then this is minority state owned and then fully privatized. So both of these, we're just going to sell a little bitty stake in it. Are you sure about your decision? Yes. So, this is the path we are taking. Thank you for heeding my suggestion, sir. I want to thank you, Mr. President. This decision will revitalize our economy. Although I wish we could have proceeded with privatization in greater capacity, it is a start. Certainly a step in the right direction. Partial privatization will still deal damage to our conservative voter base, but it's nothing we can't handle. I believe this was the best outcome we could have hoped for. I suspect that regardless, we will lose the support of some of the conservatives in the assembly, but the gains we received will offset the losses. Make sure those games happen. As you wish, I will not leave any stone unturned. If you'll excuse me, I have to get to work immediately. There is much to be done. That will be all for today then. I know everyone has a very busy schedule. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Simon. My pleasure. I put the documents in my suitcase and left the room. Oh, we only got -2. We only got $1 due from each of those. Wow. Let's go. And we did anything here change? No. Nothing here changed. Interesting. One would have thought that we would have got a marker here on the government deal, but I guess it's going to take a moment for it to happen. Unified Language Act, result of the economic direction. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this right quick. The UELA passes the following into law. Section 1. enforces that the educational institution of Shoreland will teach all classes except for foreign languages in the official language of the country, unless they are given specific approval by the Ministry of Education. Universities, technical colleges, and other schools that provide classes in any language other than Shortish will receive a suspension of operation until they apply for the approval process. Section 2 enforces the law through defunding, penalties, or total shutdown of schools. So, this would make the conservatives happy. We're asking a lot of them. So we can do this. And why do I feel like we can do this? Because they can get approval by the Ministry of Education, right? So all they have to do is ask for it. And the lady who runs the Ministry of Education, she's freaking progressive. She's a super duper left-wing crazy woman. Like, of course she's going to say that it's okay to teach some language and something else. So we're going to go ahead and sign this. There we go. And then we're going to get yelled at. See, we're going to get yelled at. Watch. Here we go. Law. Where is it? Oh, I don't know. Oh, there it is. So it just adds it here then. It just adds it here. I guess it didn't screw anything over. All right, good. We're at 41 minutes. We're going to keep going. Anybody else got anything to say? No? No, nothing else to say? No, nothing popped up. Okay. So yeah. The privatization process had begun, and as I had expected, Orland's two most prominent oligarchs wanted to speak to me about it. Two men sat across the table from me, leaving an empty chair in between them. Good to see you, Mr. President. It has been a while. Here, take this, a gift. He brought out a bottle of... I heard Peter say that it's your favorite, that you favor this one. Thank you for the gift. Straight to business. What do you want in return? No matter how you bribe me, you won't get what you're here for. Thanks for the gift. Anytime. This guy, he burst out laughing. Old man, you always think so small. You lack the vision to see the bigger picture. Nice to see you, Mr. President. Here, a real gift. He took a set of car keys from his pocket and gave them to me. Come and take a look. I look out the window on the road leading to the palace. I saw a glittering brand new sports car, a car that only the richest of the rich and the swirling could afford. It's yours. I can't take this. Yeah, I can't take this. Of course you can. It's a gift. It's really better than a bottle of whiskey. But the bottle of whiskey has a value that's less than like $200 or something. And if it's less than $200, I can take it. If it's over that, I can't. That's called the annulment clause of America. Hold on, I got a visitor. What's up? All right, we are back. Don't you think I can do better? Me, Walter Tusk? Thank you both. Let's begin the meeting. Sounds good. Gentlemen, please take your seats. They sat down. Lucan proceeded to produce a set of documents from his briefcase. He put them on his reading glasses. So Mr. Tusk and Mr. Kanadi, President Rain is about to sell private shares in Sorland's two largest national corporations, and now you're here showering him with gifts. You're both clearly more skilled at business than you are at subterfuge. So tell us, why do you deserve to claim these shares before they go into the general market? Walter cleared his throat. President, listen. We, you and I, haven't been on the best terms lately. I want to nurture a profitable relationship. Blah, blah, blah. Horseshit. Do you want to get reelected? No problem. I'll make sure of it. This is my offer to you. I'll do whatever it takes to make you president for another term. How does that sound? If I win on my own strength. Well, of course. Don't make light of me, President. I'm saying this precisely because I believe you are capable of doing it. That's why I want to help you. Before you spew those big words, make sure you can actually do it, Walter. Mr. President, first off, I'm ready to make a decision. Like, these guys aren't going to get to buy the shares. They're going to go into the general market. Don't forget that I have something that gives me an edge over the man and his archaic ways, a powerful tool. I control the media. Public opinion means everything when it comes to elections, and guess what? These shares will increase my already considerable influence over newspapers, radio, and television. I can do so much more to sway the public in your favor. Power over the assembly is nothing compared to power over the people. Basically a guaranteed win. He can never hope to beat that offer. You little snake. Markle has a point. Media is a powerful tool after all. What is the decision, Mr. President? Yes, what's it going to be? The shares will go to insider trading. Will go to Walter, insider trading, personal wealth +1. The shares will be equally distributed between two of you, insider trading. I'm sick of these shenanigans. You'll have to squabble over the shares when they enter the market, just like everyone else. Oh, gosh. Oh. I love playing video games because you get to live out your fantasies. You get to go tell two guys who have never had to want for anything in life and who always get their way. You get to tell them to their faces. You go pound sand up their nose. I love it. I'm going to pay for it, but God, feels good. What? Haven't you heard a word of what I've said? Yeah, you can't see how good a deal I'm offering you here? I believe the president has already told you his decision. We're terribly busy today. I would wish you a good day as well. I hope you know where the door is. If you don't, you can ask a security guard to show you out. This is not the end, President. You will hear from us again. Alright. Come on. Oh, man, I really wanted something else to change. Or at least something else down here. Kind of sucked. This game is all about taking away your budget super fast, but not about giving it to you. We still have two tickers, man. Come on. If I can get that up to -3. -3! I'll be good. Police launch successful raids. Nice! I was getting more than 2,000 illegal firearms and drugs. Good job. The captain of the police force in charge of these raids has released a statement saying that the shops are formed by the two notorious crime families. Good. Privatization of Sordid State Corporation and the mining group. Today, the government has announced changes to the ownership of the largest corporations. Rain determined to end recession. President Rain has shown that he has what it takes to stop the recession as he announced the most ambitious plan to date, partial privatization. Solving the recession may not be an easy task, but it is a definite step to end it once and for all. In the short term, a sizable portion of the assets of these companies will be privatized and procured by the highest bidder. That's what we want, man. We want the highest bidder. We want these stocks to soar, and we want the country to reap the benefits of all those decades of hard work. Oh no! Oh no! Assembly vote on the constitutional changes. This is today, huh? We're at 47 minutes. Do we press forward and hit this button, or do we leave this as the greatest cliffhanger in the history of cliffhangers and just wait till the next video? And that's a hard decision to make. Thank you folks for watching. Have a great day. We will see you in the next one.